The door creaked open just past midnight, slicing through the humid silence of my Seattle apartment like a confession too heavy to whisper. Lucas stood there, his broad shoulders filling the frame, eyes wild with something I had never seen in him before, a raw, unraveling fear that made my heart stutter. "Dad," he said, his voice cracking like thunder over the sound. "I think I'm broken, and I don't know how to fix it without you." I sat up in bed, the sheets pooling around my waist, the weight of 3 years as his stepfather crashing down in that single moment. Aiden Harper, 45, divorced, gay in a world that still sometimes felt like it tolerated me at best. Now staring at the young man who had become my son in every way that mattered, except blood. Lucas was 22, all lean muscle from his construction job, with that tousled dark hair and easy grin that had charmed his way into my heart the day his mother, Sarah, brought him into our lives. She had been my anchor for a decade, a straight-laced high school teacher who loved me despite the whispers, until the cancer took her 2 years ago, leaving us adrift in this rainy city on the edge of the Pacific. He stepped inside, closing the door softly behind him, the faint scent of rain and sawdust clinging to his flannel shirt. The room was dim, lit only by the glow of my bedside lamp and the neon haze from the street below, casting long shadows across the hardwood floors. I patted the edge of the bed, my throat tight. "Come here, kid. Talk to me." Lucas hesitated, his hands fidgeting with the hem of his shirt, revealing a sliver of toned abdomen that I forced myself not to notice. Not like that. Never like that. He was straight, or so I'd thought. Dates with girls from the crew, stories of bar hookups shared over burgers at Dick's Drive-In. But tonight, his face was a storm cloud, cheeks flushed under the scruff he was trying to grow into a beard. "It's everything," he started, sinking onto the mattress, his weight making it dip. Our knees brushed, and he didn't pull away. "Mom's gone, and I'm supposed to be the man of the house now, right? But I look at you sometimes, Aiden, and I feel things that don't make sense. Like, why do I want to be close to you all the time? Why does it hurt when you smile at that guy from the coffee shop?" My breath caught, a chill racing down my spine despite the summer warmth seeping through the cracked window. The secret hung between us, electric and forbidden, the kind that could shatter the fragile family we'd rebuilt from ashes. I had buried my attractions deep since Sarah's death, therapy sessions in Belltown, quiet nights volunteering at the LGBTQ center downtown, convincing myself that love was for other people now. But Lucas? My stepson, the boy I'd coached through Little League heartbreak and high school graduations? This was a line we couldn't cross. Or could we? I reached out, cupping his shoulder, feeling the tremor in his frame. "Hey, breathe. You're not broken, Lucas. You're just figuring it out. And whatever it is, I'm here. Always." His eyes met mine, green and stormy like the waters off Alki Beach, searching for absolution I wasn't sure I could give. In that gaze, I saw my own youth reflected, the confusion, the isolation, the desperate hunger for someone to say it was okay to be different. We talked until the sky lightened to pearl gray, his words tumbling out in fits and starts. How he'd always felt off with girls, how the locker room jokes at work twisted something inside him, how watching me fold laundry with that quiet grace made his chest ache in ways he couldn't name. I listened, my hand never leaving his arm, anchoring him as the city woke around us. The distant hum of the ferry horn, the patter of rain on the fire escape, the neighbor's dog barking at shadows. By dawn, he was curled against my side, head on my chest, asleep like a kid after a nightmare. I stroked his hair, tears pricking my eyes, the secret settling over us like a shared blanket, warm, dangerous, inevitable. What had started as a late-night intrusion was rewriting our story, thread by fragile thread. The days blurred into a tentative rhythm after that night. Lucas moved through our two-bedroom walk-up with a new awareness, his glances lingering a beat too long over breakfast cereal, his laughter at my dumb puns ringing a little freer. I threw myself into work at the architecture firm in Pioneer Square, sketching renovations for old brick buildings that echoed the cracks in my own foundation. But evenings were ours. Walks along the waterfront, where the Olympic mountains loomed like silent judges, or cooking pasta in our cramped kitchen, the steam fogging the windows against the perpetual drizzle. One Tuesday, after a shift that left sawdust in his eyelashes, he came home with a six-pack of Rainier and a question that stopped me mid-stir. "Aiden, have you ever loved someone you shouldn't?" We were at the scarred oak table Sarah had picked out at a flea market in Fremont, the one we'd argued over refinishing. I set down the spoon, the tomato sauce bubbling forgotten on the stove. Every day for years. I admitted, my voice steady despite the quake inside. Your mom knew. She loved me anyway. But yeah, kid, it's a hell of a weight. He nodded, popping the tab on a can, foam spilling over his knuckles. We drank in silence, the fizz mirroring the spark between us, until he leaned across the table, his fingers brushing mine. It's you, he whispered. It's always been you. The kiss that followed was clumsy, born of pent-up storms, his lips tentative, tasting of beer and uncertainty, mine responding with a gentleness I hadn't felt since Sarah. We pulled back, breathless, the air thick with what we'd unleashed. We can't, I said, even as my body screamed otherwise. You're family. But I want to be more, Lucas replied, his hand squeezing mine. Teach me how. That night, we didn't cross the line, but we danced along its edge, bodies close under the covers, whispers weaving promises in the dark. Seattle's pulse thrummed outside, jazz from the clubs in Capitol Hill, laughter from late-night joggers, the endless rain washing away the old world. I lay awake, Lucas's breath warm on my neck, wondering if this was redemption or ruin. Weeks turned to a fragile idyll. Lucas started therapy, the kind I'd recommended at the center, sessions in a cozy office overlooking Elliott Bay. He came home lighter, sharing snippets. The relief of naming it, the fear of what came next. I watched him bloom, his straight facade cracking like eggshell under spring sun. Our touches grew bolder, a hand on the small of his back at the market, stolen kisses in the alley behind our building, where ivy clung to weathered walls like secrets. But shadows loomed. Sarah's sister, Elena, called from her home in Portland, her voice sharp over the line. How's my nephew holding up? And you, Aiden, don't think I haven't noticed the way he looks at you. Elena had always been the protective one, a no-nonsense nurse with a glare that could curdle milk. I deflected, but her words burrowed like damp rot. Then came the betrayal's first whisper. Lucas's old crew buddy, Tyler, showed up unannounced one Saturday, all bro hugs and tall boys on the fire escape. Tyler was pure Pacific Northwest, bearded, flannel-clad, with a trucker hat from a Timbers game. Heard you're going through some shit, man, Tyler said to Lucas, clapping his back too hard. That phase with the chicks? Nah, you're just stressed. Come out with us tonight. There's this girl, Mia, from the site. Firecracker. Lucas glanced at me, his eyes pleading for rescue, but I busied myself with dishes, the clink of plates drowning my jealousy. He went, promising it'd be quick, and returned at 3 a.m., reeking of smoke and regret. Nothing happened, he swore, collapsing into my arms. I told her I'm seeing someone. The lie tasted bitter, but it was ours, a shield against the world. As autumn leaves turned the park's gold, our love deepened in stolen moments. A weekend hike in Discovery Park, where ferns whispered underfoot and the Salish sea stretched endless blue. We made love for the first time there, on a blanket amid the cedars, his body hesitant, then fervent, mine guiding with whispers of patience. You're beautiful, I murmured against his skin, tasting salt and earth. In his release, he cried, tears for the boy he'd buried, joy for the man emerging. Back home, reality intruded. My boss at the firm, Marcus, pulled me aside during a lunch meeting at Matt's in the market. Aiden, rumors about you and family. Marcus was an ally, silver-haired and sharp-suited, but his concern was laced with caution. HR's involved if it escalates. I nodded, the salmon turning to ash in my mouth, the Space Needle's shadow falling long across the table. That evening, Lucas sensed the storm. We argued in the living room, the space Sarah had filled with thrift store art, now echoing our shouts. I'm not hiding forever, he yelled, pacing the rug. This is me, Aiden. Us. And I'm protecting us. I shot back, voice breaking. You think the world's ready for a stepdad and stepson like this? Elena's watching, Tyler's pushing, and one wrong word. He stormed out, slamming the door, the echo reverberating like a gunshot. I sank to the floor, head in hands, the weight of forbidden love crushing my chest. Hours later, he returned, soaked from the downpour, pulling me into a desperate embrace. I'm sorry. I love you. The words were a lifeline, pulling us from the brink. Winter crept in, snow dusting the evergreens, our bond a quiet fire against the cold. Holiday lights twinkled in Pike Place, where we wandered hand in hidden hand, buying crab from vendors who didn't know our story. Lucas decorated our tree with ornaments Sarah had loved, glass stars from her childhood in Spokane, his fingers lingering on mine as we hung them. But the crisis brewed. Elena arrived unannounced on Christmas Eve, her SUV crunching gravel in the lot below. She hugged Lucas fiercely, then fixed me with eyes like winter steel. "We need to talk." Alone. In the kitchen, over spiked eggnog, she laid it bare. "I saw the photos on his phone, Aiden. The way you look at each other. This isn't right. He's vulnerable, and you're taking advantage." Her words sliced deep, betrayal from the last tethered to Sarah. "It's love," I whispered, tears hot. "Real, Elena. He's choosing it." She shook her head, packing Lucas's bag while he slept. "He's coming home with me. Until you sort this mess." Dawn broke with him torn, kissing me goodbye, promising calls, his duffel slung over his shoulder like exile. The apartment emptied, echoes mocking me, his coffee mug on the counter, flannel draped over the chair. I drove to the center that day, volunteering through numb hours, counseling kids whose stories mirrored ours. "Hold on," I told a trembling teen. "Love finds a way." But doubt gnawed. Had I ruined him? Weeks passed in agonizing silence. Text from Lucas. "Miss you. Portland sucks." Elena's voicemails, stern warnings. Then, the call that shattered everything. "Tyler, drunk and furious. Your boy's a fag, Aiden. Ruining my crew. Stay away." The confrontation came on a sleety February night. Lucas showed up at my door, black eye blooming, knuckles raw. Tyler found out. Beat the shit out of me after work. He collapsed into me, sobs racking his frame. I held him, fury rising, the secret no longer ours alone. We patched him up in the bathroom, antiseptic stinging, my hands steady on his bruised ribs. "This ends now," I said. "We fight. Together." He nodded, eyes fierce, the boy gone, a man forged in fire. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms painting queen and pink. We rebuilt, cautious but unyielding, couples therapy in a sunlit office, walks where hands linked openly, defying stares. Lucas quit the crew, starting classes at community college, sketching blueprints like mine, dreams aligning. One evening, atop Gasworks Park, kites dancing in the wind, he turned to me. "You turned everything around that night." My secret? It was loving you. The city sprawled below, lights winking like stars, our future vast and possible. Yet the climax loomed, Elena's ultimatum. Family intervention or lose him forever. She gathered us in her Portland living room, relatives circling like wolves, cousins from Eugene, aunts from Bend. Accusations flew, manipulation, confusion, scandal. Lucas stood, voice steady. "This is my truth. Aiden's my heart." Silence fell, then Elena's tears, acceptance cracking her armor. "For Sarah," she whispered. "Be happy." Healing flowed from there, a river carving stone. Summers in the Cascades, winters by our fireplace, love deepening roots. Aiden and Lucas Harper, not by blood, but by choice, a family remade. In the quiet of our home, secrets shared became strengths, turning pain to profound grace. Love, in its rawest form, redeems. The summer after the intervention sun-drenched Portland in a way that felt almost unnatural, like the city was trying too hard to forgive. Lucas and I drove back to Seattle in his beat-up Ford pickup, windows down, the Columbia River Gorge whipping by in greens and golds. He sang off-key to some indie folk playlist, his hand on my thigh a constant, grounding pressure. Elena's words echoed in my mind. Be happy, but trust was a fragile bloom, petals still unfolding. Back in our apartment, life resumed with a tentative normalcy. I returned to the firm, pitching a redesign for a Capitol Hill brownstone that mirrored our own renovations, opening walls, letting light flood the hidden corners. Lucas dove into his drafting courses, his sketches scattered across the dining table like abstract confessions, lines curving with the same vulnerability he brought to our bed. Nights were our sanctuary. We'd cook, me chopping onions while he grated cheese for homemade mac, the kitchen filling with sharp scents and laughter that chased away the ghosts. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the Olympics, painting the walls amber, he pulled me close mid-stir. "Remember that first night?" he murmured against my neck. "I was so scared you'd send me away." "Never," I replied, turning to claim his mouth, the spoon clattering to the floor. We made love on the counter, urgent and unhurried, his body arching under mine like a wave cresting. Afterward, tangled in sheets on the living room floor, we talked dreams, a house in Ballard, maybe, with a yard for a dog. Adoption papers someday, if the world allowed. But the world had teeth. Tyler's shadow lingered. Whispers at the grocery in Wallingford, where the cashier, a friend of his, eyed Lucas's cart of groceries for two with a smirk. Heard you switch teams, buddy. Lucas stiffened, but I squeezed his hand under the basket. Ignore it, I whispered. They're just noise. Noise grew to a roar when Tyler cornered Lucas outside a lecture hall at Seattle Central. I got the call mid-meeting, Marcus waving me out as Lucas's voice broke over the line. He said things, Aiden. About Mom. About us. I raced across town, tires hydroplaning on slick streets, arriving to find Lucas slumped on a bench, lips split, eyes hollow. Tyler's truck idled nearby, engine growling like a threat. He leaned out the window, face twisted. Fucking pervert, grooming my best friend. Sarah would roll in her grave. The words landed like punches, each one dredging up my deepest fears, that I was the villain in this story, preying on grief. I stepped forward, voice low. Leave. Now. Or I call the cops. Tyler laughed, but peeled out, tires screeching. Lucas trembled in my arms, the campus quad emptying around us, students hurrying to buses under sodium lamps. We drove home in silence, the radio murmuring weather updates, more rain coming. At the apartment, I cleaned his wounds with steady hands, but inside, turmoil churned. This is my fault, I said finally, dabbing antiseptic. I should have known better. No, Lucas snapped, grabbing my wrist. It's his hate, not us. His kiss was fierce, demanding, pulling me under until anger dissolved into need. We clung together, bodies a bulwark against the storm. The next day, I filed a report at the precinct in Pioneer Square. The detective, a burly woman named Reyes with a no-bullshit stare, nodding as I recounted it all. Harassment, possible assault. We'll bring him in. Lucas gave his statement too, voice wavering but resolute, the secret spilling into official ink. Word spread like Seattle fog. Elena called, furious at Tyler, apologetic to me. I was wrong to doubt. Protect my boy. His professors offered extensions, a quiet solidarity. Even Marcus pulled strings for a restraining order, his office overlooking the ferries a haven of support. Yet the crisis deepened internally. Lucas withdrew, skipping classes, staring out windows at the gray expanse. What if he's right? He confessed one night, curled on the couch, my arms around him. What if I'm just messed up from losing Mom? I held him tighter, heart aching. Love isn't mess, Lucas. It's the cleanest thing we have. We sought more therapy, sessions in a waterfront office where the therapist, Dr. Lang, a soft-spoken man with wire-rimmed glasses, unpacked our layers. My guilt over Sarah, his fear of abandonment, the taboo we navigated like a minefield. Healing came in fits, picnics in Green Lake, where paddleboarders dotted the water like hopeful specks, feeding ducks stale bread while he sketched the scene. This is us, he said, penciling two figures intertwined. Unbreakable. Autumn brought change. Lucas landed an internship at a small firm in Fremont, drafting sustainable homes that echoed his growing confidence. I watched him present his first project, standing tall in khakis and buttoned down, voice steady as he explained passive solar designs. Pride swelled in my chest, mingled with desire. The way his hair caught the light, the earnest tilt of his head. That night, we celebrated at a hole-in-the-wall in Ballard, oysters and microbrews under strung bulbs. To turning points, he toasted, clinking glasses. Our feet tangled under the table, a private rebellion. Walking home, arms linked, we passed couples like us, unseen families in the mist. But betrayal struck from within. During a rare weekend visit, Elena confided over coffee at her hotel. Lucas's father, your ex-step-in-law, Tom, heard. He's threatening to cut off the trust fund Sarah left. Says it's moral corruption. Tom, the deadbeat from Spokane who'd vanished years ago, resurfacing like a bad debt. Rage boiled, but Lucas deflated. Money? I don't care. But it hurts, Aiden. Like I'm a disappointment again. We argued that night, my reassurances falling flat. We have each other, I insisted. That's enough. Is it? He shot back, voice raw. Or am I dragging you down? He slept on the couch, the space between us a chasm. Morning brought reconciliation, pancakes burning, apologies whispered over syrup. Fight with me, not against, I begged. He nodded, pulling me close. Always. Winter holidays tested us. Elena hosted in Portland, a tense gathering where Tom loomed via video call, his face pixelated and stern. This lifestyle, it's not what Sarah wanted. Lucas muted him, standing. You don't get to decide that. Goodbye. The room held its breath, then exhaled in applause, relatives raising glasses to our courage. Back in Seattle, snow blanketing the sound, we built our own traditions, a tree trimmed with new ornaments, his and mine intertwined. Making love by firelight, his body familiar yet ever new, I whispered, "You're my home." Spring renewal mirrored our own. Lucas's internship extended, whispers of full-time offers. We house-hunted in Finney Ridge, envisioning a life beyond the apartment's confines. One open house, a craftsman with a porch swing, he knelt suddenly. Not proposal, but promise. Marry me? Someday, when it's right. Tears stung. Yes, 1,000 times. Yet the emotional nadir waited. Tyler violated the order, showing up at Lucas's internship site, ranting to co-workers. Police hauled him away, but the damage festered. Gossip, sidelong glances, Lucas quitting in shame. "I can't do this," he sobbed that night, packing a bag. "The world's too much." Panic clawed me. "Stay? We'll move, start over." He hesitated, bag dropping, collapsing into my lap. "Promise. Promise." We held vigil, rocking like a lullaby, crisis forging deeper bonds. Summer returned, healing in waves. A road trip to the Olympics, camping under stars, his head on my chest as owls called. "You saved me," he murmured. We saved each other. Back home, Elena visited, not to judge, but celebrate. Sarah would be proud. Over dinner, stories flowed. Family lore, laughter healing old wounds. As leaves turned again, our love stood firm, a testament to secrets shared, betrayals survived. In Seattle's embrace, we thrived, human, flawed, whole. The second anniversary of that midnight Door Creek fell on a crisp October morning, the kind where fog clung to the evergreens like reluctance to let go. Lucas woke me with coffee and a kiss, his lips tasting of grounds and resolve. 2 years, he said, tracing my collarbone. Feels like forever and yesterday. I pulled him closer, our bodies aligning in the familiar dance, the sheets whispering against skin warmed by Seattle's hesitant sun. Forever. The word had taken root, but weeds of doubt still crept in. Tyler's trial looming in November. Tom's lawyers circling the trust like vultures. Elena's fragile peace a tightrope we all walked. We dressed for brunch at a cafe in Queen, and him in slim jeans and a wool sweater that hugged his frame. Me in chinos and a corduroy jacket, autumn's palette suiting our quiet evolution. The place buzzed with locals, baristas calling orders, couples murmuring over lattes. The everyday hum that grounded our extraordinary tale. Over Eggs Benedict, Lucas broached it. The trial. What if they drag you in? Paint you as the seducer? His fork paused, yolk breaking like a fragile heart. I covered his hand. Truth wins, kid. We have statements, texts, everything. But inside, fear gnawed, the courtroom as crucible, exposing our love to strangers' scrutiny. The weeks built tension. Court prep with a pro bono lawyer from the center, a fierce woman named Carla with tattoos peeking from cuffs. She coached us. Own your story. No shame. Lucas practiced in the mirror, his reflection hardening from boy to man. Trial day dawned gray, rain sheeting the courthouse steps in downtown. Elena met us there, her hug fierce. "I'm testifying for you." Inside, the room smelled of polished wood and stale coffee. Tyler slouched at the defense table, eyes averted. The prosecutor called Lucas first. He took the stand, voice steady, recounting the assault, the harassment, our bond as context, not crime. "Aiden's my family. My love." Tyler couldn't handle that. Murmurs rippled. The judge rapped for order. My turn came, heart pounding as I detailed the report, the order violation. Defense grilled me. "Isn't this taboo? Stepfather and son." Carla objected, sustained. But the barb stuck, doubt flickering. Tyler's testimony twisted ugly. He brainwashed Lucas. After Sarah died, vulnerable kid. Gasps. Elena's glare could melt steel. Her rebuttal dismantled him. "My sister loved Aiden. This is hate, not family." Verdict, guilty. Restraining order permanent. Community service, a fine that stung, but just as sweeter. Outside, rain easing, Lucas crushed me in a hug. We did it. Elena joined. 3 of us a nod against the world. Celebration was subdued, a quiet dinner at home, takeout faux steaming on the table. To surviving, Lucas toasted. Later, in bed, his touch reverent. mapping scars both seen and unseen. You're my hero, he breathed. Love making slow, a reclamation. November brought Tom's escalation. Letters from Spokane attorneys. Disinherit unless cessation of immoral conduct. Lucas read it aloud, voice hollow. He wants proof. Like we're animals. Rage simmered. I called Elena. She confronted Tom, her nursing shift voice brooking no nonsense. Touch that fund, and you lose us all. He backed down, grumbling. The money staying frozen but intact, a Pyrrhic peace. Winter wrapped us gently. Holiday lights festooned Fremont streets, where we strolled after a tree lighting, hot cider warming palms. Lucas surprised me with a custom ornament. 2 silhouettes embracing under stars, edged glass. Our story, he said. Tears blurred the glow. But crisis brewed anew. Lucas's internship boss, a kindly engineer named Raj, pulled him aside. Heard about the trial. Admirable, but clients. Conservative. Might affect references. Lucas came home deflated, resume crumpled in his pocket. Is it always this? He asked, staring at the ceiling, our bedroom a cocoon of lamplight. 1 step forward, 2 back. I gathered him close. Yes, but we keep walking. Therapy helped. Dr. Lang unpacking imposter syndrome. The weight of gay Stepson labels. You're pioneers, he said. On the trail. Spring unfurled tentative hope. Lucas applied elsewhere, landing a spot at a progressive firm in South Lake Union, views of the lake a bomb. They know, he told me, grinning. And they don't care. Our house hunt intensified. Viewings in Wallingford, Victorians with bay windows, backyards blooming tulips. One Sunday, in a 1920s bungalow, sunlight slanting through leaded glass, Lucas whispered, "This is it." We made an offer that night, hearts racing. Closing day was magic, keys in hand, echoing rooms ours to fill. We christened it with paint rollers and pizza, laughter echoing off bare walls. That night, on a mattress in the living room, stars visible through unfinished curtains, we loved with abandon, the house absorbing our moans like a vow. Summer heat waves tested the new space. Air conditioning hummed, but we escaped to golden gardens, beach bonfires crackling, waves lapping. Lucas sketched the horizon, me reading beside him, feet in sand. Content, he said. Finally, betrayal's shadow returned via an old flame. Mine, actually, Jordan, an architect from my pre-Sarah days, emailing after spotting my LinkedIn update. Congrats on the house. And the boy? Scandalous. Attached, trial clippings, twisted narrative. I deleted it, but unease lingered. Lucas sensed, prying over dinner. What? Tell you later. But later became confession. Someone from my past. Judging. His face closed. Am I just that? A scandal? No. Panic. You're everything. Argument erupted, words weapons, my secrecy, his insecurity. He slept in the guest room, door shut. Morning brought regret. Coffee on the porch swing, I apologized. Fear makes me stupid. He forgave, pulling me onto his lap. Us against it. Always. Healing deepened in shared vulnerabilities. Couples weekends at a retreat near Snoqualmie. Hikes through mossy forests. Evenings journaling prompts. What scares you most? His, losing me to judgment. Mine, breaking him. Fall leaves carpeted our yard, rakes scratching rhythms. Elena visited, bringing pie from Portland, her laughter filling rooms. Proud auntie, she declared, toasting with wine. Climax crested unexpectedly. Tom's death, heart attack, sudden, brought the will reading. In a sterile Spokane office, relatives eyed us warily. Inheritance released, Sarah's fund to Lucas, no strings. But a letter. Son, I was wrong. Be true. Tears flowed. She knew. Lucas whispered. Closure, profound. Winter solstice, we hosted, friends from the center, Elena, Raj. Laughter, carols, our love the hearth. In the quiet after, Lucas proposed properly. Rings simple, silver, on bended knee by the tree. Marry me, Aiden. Make it legal, eternal. Yes. Kisses sealing fate. Spring wedding plans bloomed, small, courthouse then reception in our yard. Vows exchanged under arbor, friends witnessing. In secrets shared, we found home. Life flowed, careers ascending, garden thriving, dog adopted, Max, a mutt with wagging joy. Betrayals faded, crises to chapters. In Seattle's embrace, our story turned, from secret to symphony, love's full measure. The wedding band caught the light as I typed emails at our kitchen island, the gold a quiet gleam against my laptop's glow. 6 months married, and the novelty lingered. Lucas's ring matching mine, a tangible defiance of the world's old scripts. Our bungalow in Wallingford thrummed with morning routine. Coffee percolating, Max scratching at the back door, the neighborhood stirring with joggers and school buses. Lucas emerged from the shower, towel low on hips, droplets tracing paths I knew by heart. "Morning, husband," he teased, stealing a kiss that tasted of mint and promise. Husband. The word still sent a shiver, a reclamation from stepfather's shadow. Work called, me to a site meeting in Belltown, him to South Lake Union for a green roof pitch. "Love you," we chorused, doors clicking shut. The drive downtown, past coffee carts and ferries chugging to Bainbridge, felt ordinary yet sacred, our normalcy hard-won. But undercurrents stirred. At the meeting, a client, Silver Fox from Chicago, conservative firm, eyed my ring. Then Lucas's name in my bio update. Newlywed. Congrats. Though. Family ties. Intriguing. The pause dripped implication. I smiled through it, pitching elevations with steel in my voice. Lunch with Marcus salvaged the day. Over sandwiches at Le Panier, he clapped my shoulder. "You're glowing, Aiden. Deserve it." His own partner, a sculptor, had passed years back, wisdom in his eyes. "Just watch the bigots. They lurk." Lucas texted mid-afternoon. Client loved the pitch. "Dinner out." Heart emoji. I replied yes, anticipation building. Evening found us at a Fremont bistro, fairy lights twinkling over Mole's frites. Conversation flowed, his eco-design dreams, my nostalgia for Sarah's garden tips. Then, a shadow, Elena's text. "Tom's estate settled. But, cousin Rita stirring trouble. Says you're unnatural for the family newsletter." Lucas's fork stilled. Again? Let her. But it festered. "Home. Over dishes," he vented. "Why can't they let us be?" I held him at the sink. "Sud's forgotten. Because change scares. We shine anyway." Bed welcomed us, body seeking solace. His hands explored with familiar hunger, whispers mapping desire. "Need you," he breathed. Union slow, deepening connection, release a sigh of unity. Autumn deepened, leaves crunching underfoot on walks with Max. Therapy continued, monthly check-ins with Dr. Lang. "Marriage as mirror," he prompted. Lucas admitted, "Sometimes I fear I'm not enough, still that confused kid." "You're more," I countered. "Evolving." Crisis ignited at Thanksgiving. Elena hosted, Portland's craftsman home aglow. Relatives gathered, aunts from Salem, cousins with kids. Rita, sharp-tongued from Boise, cornered Lucas post-dinner. "Marrying your stepdad?" Sarah's spinning. He froze. I intervened, voice calm. "Love's not a spin cycle, Rita." Laughter diffused, but wound lingered. Drive home silent, rain lashing windshield. Argument exploded in our driveway. "You should have let me handle it," Lucas yelled, slamming the truck door. "I protected you," I retorted. "Like always." "From what?" "My own family." He stormed inside. I followed, hearts pounding. Words flew. My overprotectiveness, his fragility. "You're suffocating me," he cried. I recoiled, old guilt surfacing, Sarah's illness, my helplessness. He packed a bag, eyes red. "Need space." Couch at Raj's. Door shut. Silence deafened. Days blurred agony. Work mechanical, texts unanswered. Elena mediated. "Talk. Don't lose this." I drove to Raj's, finding Lucas on the porch, stubbled, defeated. "Forgive me," I begged. He pulled me inside, collapsed into embrace. "Missed you." Scared. Reconciliation raw. Tears, truths. "I fear losing you to my mess," he confessed. Never your mess. Ours. Love-making tender, reclaiming. Healing wove through winter. Joint cooking classes in Pike Place, hands flour-dusted, laughter rising. Holiday cards addressed the Harpers, a quiet claim. Spring brought renewal. Lucas's firm promoted him, lead on a tiny home project, sustainable souls like us. I collaborated, our sketches merging talents. Betrayal's next guise, anonymous email to my firm. Aiden Harper, peddling perversion. HR called meeting, Marcus defended. Baseless. He's gold. Still doubt crept. Lucas sensed, bolstering. We're bulletproof. Summer solstice party in our yard. Friends, Elena grilling, Max chasing fireflies. Toasts to resilience. Dances under strings lights. Climax brewed in heat wave. Rita escalated. Petition to disown Lucas from family tree, circulated via email chain. Copies landed in inboxes, venomous. Lucas shattered, reading aloud. Abomination. Sobbed in my arms. Why hate so hard? I held him. Fear their own shadows. We drafted response. Dignified, unapologetic. Our love honors Sarah's memory. Join or step aside. Rita backed down, mumbling apology. Victory small, profound. Fall harvest. We planted bulbs. Hope's metaphor. Therapy celebrated growth. From crisis to cornerstone. Winter wedding anniversary. Vow renewal. Just us. Courthouse steps. Rings exchanged anew. Kisses sealing. Life's rhythm steadied. Careers blooming. Max's puppy antics. Neighborhood barbecues where hands brushed openly. In quiet evenings, Lucas's head on my shoulder, TV flickering, I marveled. Secret shared had spun gold. Love's alchemy turning pain to purpose. Yet deeper layers awaited, emotions cresting like tides. The first frost etched patterns on our bedroom window, a lace of ice mirroring the delicate balance we'd struck. 2 years married, and mornings still held wonder. Lucas's arm slung over my waist, breath syncing with mine. Max's whine a gentle alarm from the hall. I traced the freckles on his shoulder, remnants of summer hikes, each a map point of our journey. Work had evolved. My firm greenlit a community center in Capitol Hill, LGBTQ focused, my designs infused with personal fire. Lucas consulted, his sustainable tweaks making it a beacon. Our mark, he said at the groundbreaking, shovel and earth, my hand in his pocket. But undercurrents swirled. Dreams plagued me, Sarah's face, accusatory. What have you done to my boy? I'd wake sweating, Lucas soothing with murmurs. Just ghosts, he'd say, but his own sleep grew restless, confessions spilling, visions of Tyler's fist, Tom's disdain. Therapy unearthed roots. Dr. Lang's office, overlooking the ship canal, became confessional. Grief compounded, he noted, layered with societal shaming. Homework, letter writing to phantoms. Mine to Sarah. I love him as you loved me. Fiercely, truly. Lucas's to Tom. Your absence shaped me stronger. Winter solstice brought Elena's gift. Weekend getaway to Cannon Beach, Oregon coast. Haystack Rock loomed as we walked sands, wind whipping scarves. Remember our first trip? He asked, shells crunching. Camping. Cedars and stars. Laughter, then seriousness. Think we'll have kids? Heart skipped. Someday. Surrogacy, adoption, whatever fits. His smile lit the dusk. Betrayal ambushed in new form. At the community center gala, black ties, donors mingling, a reporter cornered us. True story. Stepdad wed stepson. Scoop. Flashbulbs. Nausea rose. Lucas paled. I deflected. Private lives, public good. Article dropped next day. Seattle's taboo love, from family to forbidden. Sensational, skewed, implying coercion. Phones rang. Firm panic. Elena furious. Strangers demanding vitriol. Lucas withdrew, skipping work. They're right. We're freaks. Curled on couch, Max nosing his hand. No, I insisted, kneeling. They're lazy. We know truth. But crisis gripped. Panic attacks returned, his breaths ragged. Emergency session, meds adjusted. I took leave, nursing him through nights. Chamomile, stories of my coming out at 20, bar fights in 90s Seattle. Healing gradual, walks in Discovery Park, ravens cawing encouragement. He sketched again, designs fierce, homes for outcasts, resilient. Spring thought emotions. Article backlash, supporters flooded inbox, center donations surged. Allies, Lucas marveled. Summer heat pressed. We escaped to San Juan Islands, ferry rocking gently. Kayaking coves, seals barking, his laughter free. Lovemaking on beach blanket, wave serenade. Back, promotion for me, partner track. Lucas's tiny home project broke ground, ribbon cut with our hands joined. Climax crested autumnal. Rita's final strike, lawsuit over family defamation, claiming our marriage tarnished Sarah's legacy. Served papers at home, Max barking frenzy. Lucas crumbled, can't fight forever. Bag packed anew. Need to think. Panic clawed. Don't. Please. Door closed, echo hollow. Days hell. Work blurred, Elena consoling. He's scared, not gone. I wrote letters, left voicemails. You're my anchor. He returned a week later, hollow-eyed. Saw a therapist in Portland. Realized, running's Tom's pattern. Not mine. Collapse into arms. Tears cathartic. Reconciliation profound. Bonfire in yard. Letters burned. Phantoms to ash. Together, we vowed. Winter, deepen bonds. Adoption seminar. Paths to parenthood. Hope sparking. Our family grows, he said. Betrayals passed. Crises weathered. Love matured. Nuanced, enduring. The dawn of our 5th year together broke with birdsong in the cherry tree, petals drifting like confetti on the breeze. Lucas stirred beside me, his hand finding mine in sleep, rings clinking softly, a sound that had become our lullaby. Max snored at the foot of the bed, the bungalow filled with the quiet fullness of a life built brick by loving brick. Parenthood's path had curved. After seminars and agencies, we welcomed Theo via surrogacy, a squalling bundle with Lucas's green eyes and my stubborn chin. Nights blurred into feeds and diapers, exhaustion laced with ecstasy. We're dads, Lucas whispered 1:03 a.m., rocking Theo as rain pattered. Who'd have thought? Work-balanced family. My partner role at the firm mentoring young architects, Lucas heading sustainability, our community center thriving as haven. Elena doted, weekends in Portland with her bonus grandson. Yet shadows lingered, Tyler's parole hearing, Rita's silence a cold war. Climax, health scare. Routine check revealed my heart murmur worsened, stress's toll. Surgery, doc said. Lucas's face drained. He held vigil pre-op, kissing knuckles. Fight, Aiden. For us. Awake post-op, his tear-streaked smile first sight. Scared me, he admitted. Recovery wove us tighter. His care tender, Theo's coups medicine. Healing complete. Family trip to Montana's plains, vast skies mirroring souls. Under stars, Lucas murmured, you turned my secret to salvation. Kneeling, Theo asleep between, I replied, and yours mine. Back home, life's tapestry rich, love's trials forging unbreakable weave. In America's heart, 2 men, a child, a dog, proof that secrets shared illuminate, turning everything around. Humanity's grace, acceptance not given, but grown, one courageous heart at a time.